Hello YouTube, it's Carlos the Rook, and I'm bringing you round 2 in the Wolf Chess Championship 7. And in this round I'm playing Sidha. He's rated 1865, I'm 1781. And I start off with e4. He responds e5, knight f3, knight c6, and we have the Spanish, my favorite opening. So I go bishop b5, a6 hitting the bishop. The bishop drops back to a4, knight f6 hitting the e-pawn, castle, bishop e7, rook e1. And here normally everybody plays b5, hitting back at the bishop. But Sidha plays d6. So I go to c3, and Stockfish says that was the best move. And now he goes b5. So I go bishop to b3. And he goes knight a5, bishop c2, c5. And here I go h3, hoping he castles, and then I get back into familiar territory. And he does castle, and now I go d4. And he goes queen c7. And here, I thought for a second, because I got two different lines I play, d5 and knight on b to d2. This is the first time I've played d5 in a over the board game. And the move here is knight c4, b3, knight b6, because the knight is real bad, so you got to move the knight to reposition it. But here he plays rook b8, and I didn't think that move was very good. So I immediately played b3 in order to stop the knight from coming to c4 and repositioning itself. And he retreats the knight to b7, so it's under a bad square. So this knight's not good, it's blocking the bishop, his light square bishop's not doing anything. And here I decided to develop my bishop, bring the bishop out, and then I could bring the knights out and challenge the pawns. And here he plays a5, so his idea is to create some openings on the queen side. And I go queen e2, hitting that pawn that's weak. And he go bishop d7 to protect. And here, I wasn't sure, should I go knight a3, hitting the pawn, or bishop to d3. And I think knight to a3 is the best move. And Stockfish wants knight on b to d2. Just ignoring that pawn altogether. But I played bishop d3, and as soon as I played it, I knew it wasn't good, because c4 is the counter. Because c4, I capture, he capture, I capture, then his pawn on e4 falls. However, he didn't play c4. He played b4. And I felt like b4 was just wrong. And here I played c4, but the engine wanted me to play a3. I didn't even understand a3. Like, what does a3 even do? a3, if he captures, you capture back with your knight. So then a knight, you want to get your knight to c4 is the idea. Knight to c4. Excuse me. So in return, I play c4, and I just wanted to lock my side of the board. As you see here, I feel like I had a strong center, I got space. But I knew he can go a4, a3 to counter me. And he got a pawn 2 squares from being a queen. If he was able to ever get behind me and take this a pawn, then it's just game over. And he goes a4. So I go knight on b to d2. So once he takes, if he tries to take, I can take either with the knight or the pawn. and that pawn will be protected. And if he push past, then I could go ahead with my ideas on the king side. Knight to f1, knight to g3, knight f5. Also moving my other knight and bringing in a f4, f5 maybe. So he goes rook a8. And here I figure he's going to try and double up rooks on the a file and try and pressure me. But I figured if he did that, I'll move my knight out the way and just queen b7 and my rook's protected. So I go knight f1, going ahead with my plan. He goes to rook a6, so he is trying to double up rooks. And I go knight g3, so now my knight is eyeing f5. And the rooks are doubled, so I swing the queen over to protect. And Stockfish didn't want that. Let me see what Stockfish wanted. Oh, he wanted me to lead a file. Rook, bring the rook to d1. Why would I give up the a file? That's crazy. Why would I give up the a file? And now he goes a b3. I go a b3. And he puts a rook on a3. Now his idea is to bring the queen over and add extra pressure to the a file. He's going to force me to take. So I bring knight to d2 back to protect that pawn once again. And now the queen comes to a5. I take the rook, it's forced. And here I felt like he had to take with the queen. I take with the queen, he takes with the rook. And we got a game. I'm going to blockade that. Well, if you take with the pawn, I just blockade the pawn, so that's no problem. And but he done something different. He took with the a pawn. But like I said, Stockfish want queen captures a3 with equality. No, that can't be right. On move 24. Oh, it's saying it wanted black to capture with a3, capture with the queen. It wanted black to capture with the queen. So I go queen a2, just blocking the pawn. The pawn's blocked. It's not going anywhere. And he played queen c3, which I thought was a good move. He's hitting my bishop on d3. I was able to find bishop c2. So I'm just locking in this b3 pawn. My queen protects the bishop. My dark square bishop protects the knight. My bishop is protected by the pawn. And now my idea is just bring rook a1. Followed by knight b1, hitting the pawn and the queen. And I also got bishop d2, hitting the queen if the queen's trying to stay on b6, b4. So he goes knight e8. And I took a time, like, is his idea f5 here? I didn't think it was f5 right away. I thought maybe he wanted to come knight c7 to a6, then to b4, hitting my queen, and that way he could push the pawn all in for a queen. But that just takes too long. It's too slow. You got knight c7 is 1, knight a6 is 2, knight b4 is 3. It's going to take you 3 moves to position that knight over here. And I'm not going to sit around and wait for that. So I go rook a1, threatening the pawn. And here he goes bishop h4. And the idea here is, once I go knight b1, queen e1, and if the knight was to move, is the bishop and the queen both hitting f2. So I see that. And also he got knight b1. Yeah. It's got to go queen first. Queen check. The knight goes back. So this is what he wanted. He wanted knight b1, queen e1 check. The king goes here. It's a bishop check. You take there. Queen takes that. So that's why he had mine. And if you go here, I'm not sure what he would have did. But the first line is what he had in mind. So I just went knight to f1 right away, blocking queen e1 check, and just killing his counterplay. And here he played g6. So now his idea is f5. Now I played knight b1, but the engine says knight f3 and the rest is easy. This saying black needs to go bishop d8, then it's bishop d2 because you're going to lose a bishop. Then you have to sack the queen because the queen's trapped. And white is just completely winning. I just missed that. And if you want to save the queen, you got to go back here and you just go down a piece. So I completely missed that. I went knight b1 instead. And he went queen b4. And I went bishop d2, hitting the queen, forcing her further back. The queen go to b6. And I went ahead and captured on a3. So now I'm up a pawn. He goes f5. And here I went g3. I felt like I had to hit the bishop first. The Stockfish is just saying f4 here. That's brutal. But he went bishop f6. And his idea is he wants me to take and then he moves the pawn up, hitting my rook. And once my rook moves, queen to d6, and then the knight is pent. Then my knight's in trouble. So I went h4 just to keep that pawn from getting captured once he captures on e4. And he captures e4. I capture back. And now you go bishop f5. And I went f3. And my idea is, once he captured the bishop, I capture back with the pawn, and he never gets e4 in, hitting my rook. But Stockfish is saying bishop captures f5 was better. Bishop captures, g captures, queen to b1. And then the queen's hitting that f5 pawn. So that's what Stockfish wanted. But I went f3. And here he went knight a5. He's trying to hit this pawn here. And I found a really good move. Knight b4. It blocks the queen from hitting that. And now the knight can't do anything because the rook is hanging. So the rook is unprotected. So this forced him to bring the bishop back to protect that knight. because the knight is being hit by 3. And I take the bishop on f5. He takes back. And now I go queen b1. Now my idea is you got all your defenders over here on the queen side. I'm going to switch over to the king side where you don't have enough people to protect you. He plays f4. I go queen f5 anyway. He goes knight g7 to stop my idea, which was queen e6 check. So I bring the queen to d7, infiltrating. And he captures on g3. Bishop h6, threatening the mate. And he goes bishop f6. So here I had another think. And once again, his knight can't move because the rook is unguarded and his mate. Well, maybe not mate. He'll have to give up a lot of material. No, it's going to be a mate if that knight moves and he loses that rook. So I'm thinking, first thing I was thinking was knight captures g3 and trying to find a way to bring the knight into f5, but the knight just takes. I have to take back with the queen. And I feel like he can get over there where he's not just being mated. So that doesn't work. Then I was looking at knight e3, bringing the knight to g4, hitting that bishop, trying to disrupt the bishop protecting the knight. But I don't have time for 2 moves because he moved over rook to d8, then my queen has to remaneuver. So I felt like the most forcing move, even though Stockfish is just saying bishop captures g7, it wants to trade material, was knight d7. I mean knight captures d6. Because now I'm threatening queen to f7 check. And I think the best move here would have been rook a7. Where I would have went queen c8. And then it's saying queen d8. And it just wants queen captures d8, bishop captures d8, knight captures g3, and white is extremely better, 5.31, because black is just cramped with too many weaknesses. White is up 2 pawns in the endgame, rook and minor piece endgame. That's what Stockfish wanted. But that would have been, that would have been the defense. Rook a7. Another thing I was looking at was rook d8 right away. And it's queen f7. King has to go into h8. Knight e8, hitting the bishop and the knight, and blocking the rook. If knight captures here, it's just checkmate. And if you go knight e6 here, it wants d captures e6. I think queen captures f6. It's a mate in 3, it said. King g8. Yeah, you gotta do D captures E6, threatening the mate. G2. That's just mate. Yeah, it's just mate. So I was looking at this rook D8 led to a mate net. Rook A7 would have been the best, but it still would have been tough for black. But what Sihar played was rook F8, which I didn't even consider as a possibility. And here I seen a tactic. What I seen was bishop captures G7, king can't capture, so bishop captures G7. It was bishop captures G7, bishop captures G7, queen E3 check, the king goes over there, knight F7, check, rook takes, queen takes queen. Let me show you. So it was here, here, here. The rook goes up, it's just check. You take the rook with check. And the king goes here, it's check. You take that, you lose the queen, and then you lose the knight next. But not, well, you gotta hold on to the knight, but a check's coming with the rook. So that's what I was seeing. So I go bishop captures G7. And he played G2. Here I thought, do I need to go knight G3? Move my knight out because it's going to be he take, I take. I don't see queen getting in with a check, so I figured I'm good on that end. I don't even have to take time to move the knight. And if I capture, bishop captures F6, the rook captures F6, and I can't really get in. It's still saying it's mate in 13 when bishop captures F6. But then I seen bishop captures F8. And then queen E3 check is the idea. So he took here. I took back. He went queen D8, trying to get the queens off the board. I went queen F7. King H8. I stepped over, king H1. Now the idea is rook G1, then rook G8. Here to here. So that's my idea, mate in 2. And he played H6. And now his idea is to block it with the bishop. I go rook G1 anyway. If you go to block it with the bishop, then it's just queen. I'll just show you. Bishop G5. Queen G7, checkmate. That's how it would have ended. So here, Sihar resigned after rook G1. And that started off the tournament really, really strong. I beat an 1800 player. And I got 2-0. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It's absolutely free. And thank you so much. Let's grow the channel. Have a nice day. Bye.